Well, obviously there's a bit more to this story than, the guy assaulted the cops.
Shock and confusion as an accused fare evader takes on police.
Why would a fare evader take on two cops? Because if you look at the official website here for Transport New South Wales, it says if you're caught travelling without a valid card, not paying the correct fee, travel without a concession card, blah, 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 you may be issued with a fine of $200. And they can either issue the fine to you on the spot or send it to you, mail to your residential address. I mean, it's all pretty routine stuff. I don't know why anyone's, why someone, a fare evader would take on the cops. There's a bit more to this story. And Auburn was getting a bit hysterical when the cops are yelling out or calling urgent Eudora. I mean, it's 2 against 1. It's not like they're, just about to be overpowered or anything. They got this guy down and they're just taking a bit of time to deal with him. But anyway, they've called for backup.
The man grabs a senior constable's taser and aims it at a sergeant on the ground.
Wow, it's all happening. And this is where Channel 9 got deceptive, because they edit her voice over the video sound, so you don't hear that the taser was already being used by the cops, and she doesn't describe how the guy managed to get hold of the taser. Now, I found the original footage from a Facebook page, but even that at Auburn 2114 at the top, that's deceptive, because Channel 9's changed that and put that in to try and make sure people, trying to make it so people can't find the original video, but I managed to find it from another source. But yeah, that's another deception as well. So as you can see, it's Auburn 2144, not 2114, and it's not even in this video. So you can see the efforts they go to try and, someone's actually typed that lie in. They've gone, okay, this is going to air, and I'm going to type a deception in. And as you can also see, the cops were using the taser well before it got used on them, but obviously not successfully, because the guy managed to get it off them.
It went off 4 times before the officers took back control. With backup on the way, they used baton strikes to arrest Jason McGoldrick. Police say the 50-year-old was on the train with his girlfriend, Blair Richards, yesterday afternoon when the pair allegedly failed to produce valid tickets. They were escorted off at Eudora train station, and that's when it turned violent.
Well, they're very light on detail, but if you look in the background there, it looks like there's 2 transit cops with yellow vests. You're not 100% sure, they might be just tradies, but they look like they got those vests. So probably what's happened is they've asked for their tickets and they haven't got them. They've then radioed ahead, and these 2 other cops have been waiting at the train station to escort them off. But it still doesn't explain why the violence erupted. When you look at the Transport New South Wales procedure for, it's just going to get a fine. So why did all this violence erupt? So the question has to be asked, was this staged? And this Auburn 2144 is in on it. Now, there are a few indications that they are, but their channel, it's quite interesting. I'll just show a few clips from their Facebook page, and then later on I'll show the indications that make it look like it might have been staged.
This is the hit. Open 2144!
So the boys referring to an elderly woman playing golf as a bitch. Then they toot the horn to ruin a golf shot. But she does give him the finger back. I think they did appreciate that. So that's one of their videos.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Auburn 2144.
This video was posted after it was the one with the golf video was already up. So I'm not sure the PM saw that video before he agreed to go along with this channel. But as you can see, they're very all over the shop, you know, harassing golfers and encouraging them to. It's an interesting Facebook page. I suggest you go and have a look at it. So really, the evidence is inconclusive as to whether they were in on it. Although there was something that happened in their video that isn't shown in this story that makes me think that they were in on it. Now, if you watch that clip in slow motion, this was just uploaded to their Facebook page. But clearly they've edited out some of the usage of the baton. Now, if they're just, not connected to the cops or haven't had any consultation, why didn't they just put the video up raw and, it'd be even more watchable? You want to see, if there's cops have really done something wrong. But just watch it in slow motion. They've edited it out. So that to me indicates at least some contact with the cops or consideration. And in this next section here, the cop somehow loses a taser. In fact, he doesn't even know where it is. It's these guys. It appears like these guys, because he looks at them as they're talking, they, help him retrieve the taser or tell him where it is. But they seem to have be in cooperation with the cop.
Goes to City Circle, First stop, Guildford, Maryland, Randall Drive.
And the guy comes in to start sort of bashing around his feet, but they seem to have cut out some real serious bashing. So I'm 50-50 as to whether they filmed this or whether the cops have, after they've spoken to them and they've done something. But they're certainly in cooperation with the cops.
Jason McGoldrick is facing 9 charges, including allegedly assaulting 2 police officers.
No, bashing, holding him down, bashing him. If it was real, but certainly a bit of a stretch to accuse him of assaulting them. And if he managed to get hold of the taser, well, listen, their incompetence. Do we even know that he, actually, he does have hold of the taser at one point in time. I'll play the complete video from Auburn 2144 so you can do an analysis yourself. But yeah, it's a bit rich getting him for assault.
Breaching an AVO and...
This AVO breach is interesting and it gives up quite a bit. Now, obviously, it's about her because he's on a train station. It's not at someone's house or anything. So it's obviously with her. And she obviously hasn't called the cops and reported it, as normally happens. They're just checking their tickets, supposedly. So it's apparent that if they just followed the normal procedures of Transport New South Wales, then they would just get your license, get your residential address, check your details, issue the fine and walk off. But the cops obviously did a complete background check and found out about the AVO, and that's when they've pursued him. And there's a few other charges that I'll just play out now that all came from doing this background check, and obviously they're going to arrest him for the AVO. Wasn't about the fare, as they said at the start, because otherwise they would have just said, okay, no worries, mate, you'll get the fine in the mail, don't jump on, or, we'll escort you off or whatever, and that's it. But obviously it was about this as well. They must have done a background check while they were on the station, and that's part of the conditioning as well as showing that, cops can bash the shit out of you and you get done for assault.
Being in possession of prescription drugs. He didn't apply for bail in court and his matter was adjourned to next week.
Now, she didn't mention it specifically, but from another news site, he apparently did get charged with out travelling with a valid train ticket. And here it says she wasn't charged, but she still might have been given a fine, just wasn't charged in relation to any of those other offences. Now, there were a few indications that this might have been staged and set up, particularly with her acting and the fact that Auburn 2144 Facebook had edited the video before it went up. Looks like they went with the taser. But even if it wasn't, this certainly the way they present this story and even the outcomes, they certainly let the people of New South Wales and probably the rest of the country as well know the dynamic between the public and the cops, i.e. they can hold you down, bash the crap out of you over a train fare, and you can and you'll be done for assault. Certainly that's one of the messages. So anyway, I'll just play the whole video from Auburn 2144, and like I mentioned before, just you can have a look at it, and if you've got any other observations or that, it'd be good to see. Righto, that's it.
Electric gun ले ली थी सर gun ले ली थी electric ओ ताई तो जी तो gun मारो
Samora, railway. Hey, they say 650. They just say 650, please.
For your safety and security, CCTV cameras are in use 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hey, we got Taser.
Goes to City Circle. First stop, Guildford, Marylands, Randall, Drive, Auburn, Lidcombe, Berwick, Ashfield, Newtown, Redfern, Central, Town Hall, Greenwood,
Just handcuff him already, bro. What's up?
St James, Museum.
What's he gonna need?
Here's a handcuff better.